Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana market update video. Today we're going to take a look at some AZRA seed pre-sale stuff. We're going to take it a lucky person on Reddit, and then we're going to talk about some bigger picture stuff in terms of Lorcana being infused into the overall overarching Disney IP, which I think is very, very cool. So starting off with Azurite C, we're seeing a lot of volume on the pre-order stuff, guys, which, that's good, right? It's expected. Prices right now are at around 110 for a booster box. Now, quick caveat: keep in mind, I think this price is fair. I think you can get it cheaper, but I think this is a fair price. But keep in mind that if you buy through TCG Player, these will not ship until 10 days after the LGS release, which is this Friday. Not the following Monday, but the Monday after. You will then get these shipped from TCG Player and hopefully have them to your house. That window is shortened from 14 days to 10, so something to keep note of there. Like I said, I think the price is fair, but I just want to put out there into the ether once again. We know that this set is very polarizing. We know that some people love it, some people hate it. A lot of people have said they're going to sit on the sideline for the set. They're going to open some Pokemon or whatever, and then they're maybe going to come back for set 7. At the end of the day, these pre-order boxes typically hover closer to like 120 to 130 range. And so the fact that this set is already down to that 110 range tells me that we are going to see some decreased prices for this box sooner rather than later, and that the expected value, unless we see some significant spikes, is probably going to be lower than what we're used to on those first, week and a half, 2 weeks of LGS release before we get to retail, and then and then long term here for the next, let's say 6 months or so, probably going to see some pretty depressed prices for this box. And so keep that in mind. If you're opening it, right, enjoy it, love it, all for it. But this is not going to be our best like value proposition in terms of like opening, right? Opening's never profitable, but as you guys know on this channel, I like to open packs where it makes sense, where I can get the best bang for my buck, where I have the opportunity to pull an enchanted, sell the rest of the singles, and make a decent margin there. And so this box is going to be tough. I would say my financial senses tell me to not open it at all on Friday. They say to wait. When we get into holiday season, we have some like Black Friday deals, Cyber Monday deals, just holiday specials. You have your Target discounts, you have your Walmart discounts, whatever, like Amazon discounts, you get your cash back. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to acquire product over the next couple months, and I think you're going to see some really, really, really good prices. And so that tells me that like sitting out on this box for the next month or so might make a lot of sense. Now, obviously, that's not any fun, right? Sitting out while everyone else is posting their pulls and enjoying the product. But if you are looking at this strictly from a value proposition and you don't have any desire to open the product, I think that waiting is always the best play here. Even more so, the fact that the box is already down around 110, I think that that tells us what we need to know about kind of the short term price action on this box. I think it's going to be sub 100 sooner rather than later, which has not been the story for other sets. Shimmering Skies was at 120 for weeks after release, and so it takes a while for these to come down. Typically, Azurite C already at that point, and that's probably reflective of a lot of people don't vibe with the Enchanted. A lot of people are Enchanteds. A lot of people just don't vibe with the set, so they're skipping it, and I think we see that here. And that's not to say that there's no one buying it, right? You look on TCG Player, and this is just one outlet. You see 101, 84, 94, 98, 103, 79, and these are just TCG pre-orders. Obviously, a lot of people are going through their LGS, and then there are a lot of people are going to go to retail, etc. So, not to say that there's not any volume here. There's going to be plenty of cards available, but at the end of the day, it probably just makes sense to wait on this particular box due to the factors that I hit on there. Quick reminder on the cards and the individual stuff. These cards, there's going to be more and more that hit the market as time goes on. And so if you don't have like a tournament or something that you're preparing for where you need the singles in hand now, it's always best to wait. There is one caveat to that if you can see the meta, you see a card that is OP and that you feel like is going to be included in the meta, but maybe it's not noticed yet, or maybe it is noticed and you just want to get your hands on it, those cards always make sense to buy as soon as possible. There's going to be some rare instances like the Daisy from Shimmering Skies, where it was holding strong around $20 for the first, honestly, like month or two that it came out. It then people kind of fell out of love with it, and it decreased down to like, I think it's around like $7 or $8 now. There are cases like that happens, but by and large, if you like, for example, when Rise of the Floodborn came out, if you bought a Sad Beast around $20, which is what they were going for, it benefited you very greatly to get a playset then before it went up to 50. Now it's down around like 30 or 40, but just speaking in general terms, as we get around to the early next year, and as we get into the next DLC event and things like that, it's going to make a lot of sense to get the playable cards, the cards that are very meta, before they go through any sort of spike. Especially if there is a depressed demand and there's not as many packs open, that people that want these cards are going to have to pay for them, and players getting their cards could dry up some specific individual cards pretty quickly. So keep your eyes out for that. Very, very excited to see how the set does. This is the first one where we're seeing a lot of, there was some negative sentiment around Shimmering Skies, but I think a lot of people fell in the boat that I did. That when I first saw the set, I was like, man, don't love these Enchanteds. And then they grew on me, and now I love them. We'll see if it goes through the same path as for Azurite Sea. I personally think that this is the most negative sentiment I've seen around, honestly, Lorcana and a set in general. There's been a lot of comments on my video, guys, of like, packs aren't selling, the demand is falling off, all this stuff. I'm not really sure where that's coming from, to be honest. Like, my stores don't have a lot of packs in stock. When they do get stocked, they get bought. You look at like Azurite Sea, hundreds of boxes selling all the time. First chapters, it continues to just go up. I think an individual box is like $350 now for a first chapter booster box. So look, at the end of the day, maybe Ravensburger hasn't done something that you've liked, and you want more from them. That's fine. I encourage you to take a step back. Remember that we're 14 months in, and we've got a long roadmap with this thing. They're talking about IPs that are coming in 2025, IPs that are coming into 2026. And then in that same vein, when we look at something like this on Twitter, this is brought to us from Drew Smith. His handle is @DrewDisneyDude. He says, new, here is a first look at the Disney villains coming to Villains Land at Magic Kingdom Park. And then he shares a photo here. So this is all Disney Lorcana art, obviously, that is going to be included in the park here at Disney World. And so that just speaks to the continued infusion between the brands of this Lorcana IP and what Ravensburger has made and is continuing to grow, being infused with the overarching Disney IP and what that day-to-day experience looks like. They're becoming more deeply entrenched, which is only good news. And so I think, Liz, once again, if Ravensburger's missed on a few things for you, and you're on the fence and you feel like, hey, Azurite, he's a miss, packs aren't selling right, etc., I think it's worth it to take a step back and just kind of think about the overall picture, the grand scheme of things. Like, imagine you have that sentiment, and then imagine a month from now they drop a animated series on Disney Plus that includes glimmers and unique storylines and these iconic characters that we've all bonded with throughout our lives, and that our kids have these relationships with, and they're now interacting with characters outside of their traditional movies or IPs and stories, and there's new stories being formed in this new series, right? Like, not to say that's going to happen. I'm just simply prognosticating here. If something like that were to happen, you would be like, holy shit, why did I sell my cards? What am I doing? This was always a possibility. So just keep in mind, right? That may not happen, right? And maybe I'm living in a fairy tale land. Maybe I'm living at Magic Kingdom with an idea like that. But that, as we continue to see these IPs be deeply entrenched and these brands coming together, in addition with Disney ramping up marketing and things like that, we have unique IPs coming in 2025. We have Pixar coming in 2026. The roadmap and the vision for this thing is very, very long, guys. And so don't get caught up in a couple months of a down market or a lull in sales, or you don't like a set, right? That's fine to skip a set. I have no problem with you stepping back, and I think that's how you cast your vote. You say, hey, I don't like this idea. I'm going to take a step back. I'm not going to interact with the market at this particular time. I think that's very fine, and that's a fine way to do the hobby, right? Not every set is for everybody, and that's perfectly okay. But once again, as it relates to the greater picture, keep things like this in mind as we continue to progress through this evolution of Lorcana and Disney and all things TCG. Because I really do think we're going to be in for an increased not increased, but just a lull here for the next couple months. I've mentioned it several times. I'm not going to beat it over the head. We are in an environment where the sets are driven. The prices are driven and the market's driven by players, not collectors. Versus Pokemon, where it's very much driven by collectors, not players. It's the opposite here. And so the collectors like myself and you guys out there, a lot of you who only collect, we're in the minority, and so we have to wait for the demand to come back from the players. As we get into continentals and into worlds, and this hype builds, and people see this one of one Mickey trophy, that's probably, if the winner, whoever wins it, best of luck to everyone. Like, that is literally going to be a life changing amount of money. Like some of the other price cards, definitely. I mean, a huge amount of money. Right? I'm not gonna belittle the sales for some of what these people have had for their cards. But you look at like that one of one golden Mickey trophy. I've made a video before saying it's gonna be the most valuable piece of cardboard ever printed. You know, that's a hot take. I know it's like there's the one ring from Magic that sold for like $2 million or whatever to Post Malone. Who knows if this trophy card will sell for that? It probably won't, but I think there is potential there for it to become the most valuable card ever printed. And as things like that happen, if like a Logan Paul were to come in and buy the one of one trophy card, like what would that do to the market? What hype would that bring? You'll have traditional news outlets covering it. You have all this different stuff going on. So more hype will come. The cycle will turn around and it will become bullish again. So I remain steadfast that now is the time. Should you want to pick up any cards that you have the discretionary income to spend, you are willing for it to maybe go down in price in the short term, you're willing for it to remain flat, you have the time to sit on it because you enjoy it, you have an intrinsic connection to the card, the character, etc., something your kids want, whatever it may be. As long as those fundamentals remain true that I'm constantly talking about, I think now is your time to go out and get the cards that you want. And at the end of the day, I just think we're in a great buying time. So with that being said, guys, we'll end on a quick little fun Reddit thing. We have a post here from unlucky underscore case 7290. I'm gonna need them to update their Reddit handle because they are anything but unlucky. They say found the first chapter booster boxes at an outlet store. Extremely cheap boxes. Only 2 were sealed. A bunch were open. I didn't expect to pull anything crazy. And he goes back, or they go back to back enchanted on the pool. So shout out to them. They need to update their handle there. Obviously, finding first chapter in the wild is extremely rare, so that was lucky to even find it. Then to go 100% hit rate on the boxes, pull 2 enchanteds, even more rare. So shout out to them. They need to update their handle to maybe Lucky Case 7290. So that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I hope you liked it. Hope you all are doing amazing. Happy as we get into Thanksgiving here. Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas. Hope you all have a great end of the year. Going to be some exciting things around the corner, and I'm happy to be here with you all. So shout out to you guys. We'll be back with another video soon. Bye.